Hey guys, my name is Lucas and today we're going to talk about breaking bad habits. We all know how hard it is to break a habit. Once a habit is set up, it's really hard to get rid of. And we all have some bad habits as well. Some of us may be smoking and others of us may just hit the snooze button 5 times in the morning. It doesn't matter if it's something as big as smoking or something as little as hitting the snooze button. Everything matters. Everything that does not improve your life will drag you down. And today I'm going to give you those 3 easy steps to breaking those bad habits that you have. The first thing we need to get you to do is to commit to this idea that you need to break this habit. The easiest way to get that commitment going is to know for yourself that it is not an option to do that anymore. Whether it's smoking or hitting that snooze button, that's not an option. It's not even an option. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just not an option, period. That's it. Not an option, end of the story. That way you will not do it because there's no option to do that bad habit. It just doesn't exist. But how do you get that mentality? Well, it's easiest by getting some emotion going. Connect that habit with an emotion. Let's say we have this family. And the father and husband in that family is a hardcore smoker. They smoked for a long time, and by the time that his children were about 13, 14, 15, he got very, very sick and the smoking started to get to him. Now, this guy has a son and he's very close to his son. I want you to stop smoking because it's important to me that you are still alive to see me get married and to see me become a successful businessman that I always dreamed of doing, and I want you as my role model to be there when that happens. If that resonates with the father, then he has an intense motivation, an emotion that carries so much weight that he will not smoke. I can guarantee that to you. But you may not have that event that carries such a big emotion. So you need to make an emotion happen. You need to find some attachment, some specific thing you tell yourself that you will not do this anymore. It is not an option. Once you tell yourself that it is not an option anymore, you need to stop identifying with the problem. This is one of the biggest misconceptions and problems that people with bad habits have. They keep identifying with it. If you've been a smoker all your life and then you suddenly decide you want to quit smoking, then you'll still say, hey, I'm a smoker that hasn't smoked for 5 days. But you see the problem with that. The key idea that the person is still a smoker is still there. They haven't let go of that. It is still part of their identity, part of who they are. And then of course they don't let go of that, because that's who they are. And they don't want to let go of what they have become. They don't want to let go of themselves. So you need to stop identifying with that problem altogether. When you say you don't want to smoke anymore, then from that moment onward, you are a non-smoker. Because it is a lot harder for a non-smoker to pick up another cigarette than it is for an ex-smoker, and a smoker will do it even more likely than that. So tell yourself right then and there that you do not associate with that bad habit any longer. Even if it is that you're not a morning person and that's why you hit the snooze button 5 times. If you tell yourself you do not want to keep that habit, then from that moment onward, you are a morning person. You're not the person that hits the snooze button 5 times. You are a person that gets up after the first ring of that alarm clock. Once you've stepped away from identifying with that habit, you need to replace it with another habit right away. A better habit if you can. If you suddenly let go of a habit, you lose part of yourself. Even if you don't identify with it anymore, there's still a void inside yourself. Something is missing. So you need to fill that up with a new and better habit. And it has to be something where you can spend an equal amount of time at. Because that's the biggest way you will lose yourself again. And I'm not saying overall time, I'm saying exactly those intervals. So let me explain that. If you're a smoker, you may smoke a cigarette every hour. So you step outside for 5 minutes every hour and smoke your cigarette. It will not benefit that person if they suddenly work out for 2 hours. Even though it may be the same amount of time, it does not benefit them because every time that they don't work out, they will feel the need to smoke a cigarette. So instead, you need to have a habit that fits that time. So what habit could fit 5 minutes of every hour? Well, you could, for example, say you want to drink more water. That way, every time you would normally go out and smoke a cigarette, you go to the kitchen, fill yourself up a glass of water and drink it. That way, the void is replaced as best as you can, because the most conditions have been met to equal that old habit that you had, and that will make the transition a lot easier. Either you succumb to the habit or you break the habit. Now, with good habits, it's not a problem to succumb to them. You can totally jump into those good habits, but you should not let the bad habits get control. With your bad habits, you follow a very negative relationship. You both try to compete for who's on top. So either your bad habits will break you, or you will annihilate that habit.